Hey everybody, it's Michael Carey with the One Good Reason. Um, Tonight's guest, once again, is going to be Xavier Hayes. We're going to be talking about faith in general, and we're actually going to be kind of expanding on the differences between faith and hope, and maybe even a little bit of trust in the mix. So I'm going to wait till Xavier comes on, and then we'll jump right into the convo. Shave the head, shave the face. Oh, if you guys haven't seen the impression or impersonation, however you want to say, that I did of Donald Trump, it's Donald Trump's diarrhea epidemic. It's on the YouTube page. It's like 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm just kind of farting around, doing an impression of Donald Trump. So if you like to laugh and you want to take a look at that, feel free. Xavier's just joined us, so I'll go ahead and bring him on. Xavier, you're not invited, by the way. Hey, what's going on, X?
Hi, what's up?
I was just telling everybody about the Donald Trump diarrhea epidemic that's attacking this country.
Yes, it's just well, I won't say a chocolate mess, but just a flowing mess of poo. Better yet to say.
I didn't know what to say when I first started that. Actually, I was like, when I got to epidemic, I said, ladies and gentlemen, there's an epidemic of diarrhea attacking this country. It was like chopped up. I really didn't know. I was just making it up as I was going. But no. So, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with all of us. Looks like you've cleaned up nicely, looking dapper, very nice. Got the fan on in the background. Okay.
uh, no, this is yeah, I still have on my clothes from work. I didn't
Oh, okay.
change. Actually, all I've been doing was really just actually cleaning up, because it's been filthy. I haven't actually
Diarrhea
cleaned up.
epidemics. Diarrhea epidemics. No,
Yeah.
no, but so I didn't really put a poll out for this one. I just kind of pulled this out of that place. No pun intended. Um, this one
Out of your
I
ass.
really wanted to talk about faith and the difference between faith, hope, and I know we already talked about trust a little bit and how that's how that credit is built and how a bad decision can affect you. But trust is kind of in there too, and I think it's right in the middle. It's the cream between the cookies. You know what I mean? Trust. But then, so I want to talk about the differences between faith and hope. So first off, point blank, Xavier Hayes on the spot. When someone says hope, what are you thinking? When someone says I hope that you know the mechanic doesn't charge me a shitload of money. Like, what do they mean by that? What's the purpose in doing that?
When I first say the word hope, or the thing that comes to my mind is the same. I associate hope with wishing and also praying as well. So I'm going, which I actually substitute now, prayer, like pray for New Mexico, pray for Puerto Rico with hope, or with the word hope. Hope that New Mexico become better. Hope that you know Puerto Rico is recuperating from the storms and shit like that. So that's why I think it is. I mean, it's not really doing anything. You're just, flicking a coin in a pond and making a wish.
Okay, okay.
You're hoping, you're not putting forth no action, to get anything resolved or to get anything done. You're just putting out there in the universe to have and having the universe take responsibility of this event and not you,
Okay.
which I can get far into that. That's
Yeah.
it's hoping. It really, to me, is just not. you're not doing anything. You just, I just hope something fall out of the sky. I hope that I become a millionaire. You know, what am I doing to become a millionaire? You know,
Okay, so there isn't any
that's
action
what I think.
behind it, but is there anything positive when you think of the word hope? Um, is it good to hope, or would you say it's bad to hope? If somebody says,
I believe
I feel like
hope.
there's no hope. I mean, is hope something that we should cherish, or is hope um, I'll keep it simple. Is it good or is it bad to hope for something?
It's not bad. I think it's be keep you optimistic. Keep you positive. You know,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, optimism. Yeah, hope. Hope is. I think I like that. Yeah, optimism.
yeah, it's it can be used for that type of service, but it's nothing um can come of it.
It's not
I
hoping.
can
Simply hoping isn't going to. Okay, I got you. Right.
I
Um,
mean, I can hope all goddamn day. What am I doing to put forth an action, to get something done? It's my actions that, really become, to make me successful. It's my action help people. I can't hope, people to get well. I can't hope people, to stop doing things. I mean, yes, I can, but it's not going to produce any actions. But it'll make me happy. So
Hey,
it's
hey, hey,
just,
hey, John Hoskins is in the room, everybody. Just want to give a shout out to John Hoskins. He's been really supportive of the One Good Reason. I really wanted to shout him out. Hey, John, I don't know if you missed it, but obviously this is wrong. This is being recorded. But we're demonstrating differences between hope and faith. Right now, we just have hope on the table. We haven't talked about faith yet. I'm trying to run through it as quick as we can. Xavier's basically saying it's a big bag of nothing. It's not doing shit for anybody, but it's a little bit of optimism. It's you're looking forward to something, an outcome that you would prefer, basically, an outcome that you would prefer, and it's something that okay. So is it good to hope for someone's death or to hope for um, you know uh, this
that's what we talked about before. It's it's that good versus evil type of shit. What
it's
is good?
optimistic. I'm
E-
hoping that
Yeah.
this
It's
outcome.
it's your good then, it's good for you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that could be wicked.
Okay. Okay.
But
Is
yeah,
is it wrong to tell people to let go of hope and don't hope for things because you're what's the point in planning a picnic? You can't control the weather. Why hope for the good weather? Go out there, and if you get rained on, soggy sandwiches for everyone. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to say stop it with the hope?
it's a problem. It's a problem when you use hope as some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? As some type of vehicle to make things happen. If you're expecting something to prosper because you're hoping for this to happen, okay, I'm hoping that I will become a millionaire tomorrow,
Yeah.
and it doesn't happen tomorrow.
Did I say
So then
did I say stop it? Stop hoping for that. If it happens, it does.
it's no problem with hoping. Go ahead, hope all the goddamn you want. Go ahead, hope, 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 hope. But don't expect realistic outcomes. Because of your hope. You know, Yeah, keep hope alive. Yeah, we all should keep hope alive. But what are we doing to keep hope alive?
Ah,
That's
full circle. John,
hope is not hope is not doing it.
John,
It's our
John,
action.
John dropped a little comment here. He said, "Hope is." I'm going to quote you directly. Hope is looking forward to something. Faith is believing it exists or will come to fruition. So one is more of a. It would be nice if this were to happen. It would be nice if this were to come true.
Mhm.
And then faith, we haven't gotten into that just yet, but faith, he's saying, is believing it's already a part of reality or it will happen. It's almost like it's like like a prophecy almost, or like you're predicting the outcome ahead of time. Okay. Okay. I would say I think the majority of hope is good. When people use the word hope, they in general intend it to be a positive, good thing. But yeah, people can hope for wickedness, and people can hope for misery and discomfort and pain and things like this. Should people hope? I think hope is like, smelling breakfast, right? It's like um, it gives you an idea of what could be or what might be, but it's not actually eating the breakfast. It's not, you're not getting what you want. You have to get out there and maybe you realize that's the neighbor's breakfast, and you haven't actually cooked any breakfast, and you live alone, and you have to cook your own breakfast. But you're getting a sense of what the possibilities are, and I think it's okay to hope, but within reason, within reality. Because if you spend too much time hoping for something that is against the law of physics, I should say. I mean, but it's like, okay, well, if we're not being, if we're not inventing, and if we're not being creative, then hope is kind of the battery in the back of those types of industries. So innovation and things like that, I mean, hope does push those along. But I don't know, it's hard to say. It's like, who's to say your hope, I guess, is misguided or naive, and who's to say one's hope is should be nurtured and should be cherished and hopefully come to fruition.
Right.
Hold up, I want to backtrack here. So John drops, in a world of infinite possibilities, ... LOL, you may very well wake up rich tomorrow. This is true. So that's the hope, right? And John, I am gonna, this is Tiger Talk, so I am gonna sink my teeth into that comment. We're gonna come back to that. There's blood in the water. I want to come back to that. There was a lady swerving on the highway while on Facebook. I legit said out loud, "I hope you wreck without harm to her or others." You know, well, I think that's I laughed at it. I can't lie. I think that's funny. Obviously there would be some quote unquote harm, financial harm, right? She'd have to pay for the repairs, or maybe her insurance. Who knows? The deductible is $500. No one's going to be happy about that, but I understand what you're saying. I mean, if her paying a deductible is going to keep some child alive, then by all means, I'm down for that. The money can be regenerated. The child can't. And the last knowledge egg he left us was the best lessons are learned the hard way, in my opinion. Not sure if that was you or if that was John that dropped that, but well, I think all lessons are learned the hard way. But I did want to backtrack to in a world of possibilities, you may very well wake up rich tomorrow, Xavier. So try to remind me when we get off the topic. I want to move into faith. I want to give a couple quick examples, and then I kind of want your take on it. Okay, so to me, faith, right? Faith, we've kind of sprinkled a little bit so far in the talk, but faith is really, in my opinion, it's accepting something as truth. And we've talked about how difficult it is to prove something to be true. It's very fucking difficult. Okay, and I use an expletive, that's how difficult it is. If I said, Xavier, can you prove to me, that you purchased that shirt? And you're like, well, I have my receipt. And it's like, well, the receipt doesn't prove to me that you were in the store and purchasing the shirt. And it's like, well, here's the camera footage of me purchasing the shirt. And I'm like, well, it might be hard to determine if that's you on the camera. It's the back of your head. It could be somebody else. And, then we started, well, the lady recognized me. We interviewed her, and we can go down and down and down and down. And it's really difficult to prove that you purchased that shirt. And you're wearing the shirt. And you'll tell me you purchased the shirt. And it's not like, you lived a long time ago and we're all debating if you purchased a shirt or not. You're right there in front of me, and it's that difficult, right? It's difficult to get into how true something is. But faith is accepting something to be truth in the absence of any evidence. Not required. It's not required.
Hmm.
And faith is also accepting something as truth in the face of evidence to the contrary. That's the part a lot of people, I think, aren't latching onto. They're not understanding. It's accepting something as truth without evidence, or in the face of evidence to the contrary. I'm saying that, um, you know, Xavier, or I have faith that Xavier is not home right now, right? And then you get up, you show me around the apartment, you show me that, you're like, no, I am home, right? And then you go to the front office and you dangle the keys, and the entire staff is like, welcome home, Xavier, and you show your papers and show me all the evidence. And in the face of all of that, I still say I have faith that you're not home. Now that sounds ridiculous, right? That is what faith is, in my opinion. You're going to say that it's true, you don't need evidence, and then even if evidence comes to show you that you're wrong, you're going to still hang on to your original belief. I also say that faith is not a um, reliable pathway to truth, right? And I really like Matt Dillahunty's take on this. Um, I can have faith that I'm going to flip a coin 100 times and get all heads. Now, probability speaking and statistically speaking, getting all 100 heads, that can happen, right? It can
Hmm.
happen. Nothing's stopping that from happening. I could just happen to flip it, and you don't think that's happened? With 7 billion people on the planet, 100 heads has probably happened, right? Now, let's say I flip the first coin and it hits tails, right? The very first one. Do I say, well, not I'm starting again, or am I counting the hits and dismissing the misses, right? It's like I can take any position, I can believe anything that I want using faith. Can you tell me one position I can't take using faith?
Hmm.
I could take any position. I could say I am a Samoan woman. Um, I'm a Samoan 95-year-old woman, um, who um, will walk on the moon without a spacesuit when everyone's long dead. I can accept it as truth without any evidence. And if you were to show me, no, humans usually live an average of 80 years, you're biologically a male based on your sex, um, you're only 30, right? I mean, this is based on your birth records that we've kept since you've been alive, and this is all the evidence to the contrary of this. Oh, and there isn't any oxygen in space, so you're not going to be able to do that. And then who's going to be funding your rockets to get you to the moon if everyone's long dead? How are you getting there? How are you breaking out of the atmosphere, getting this, all of these things that would challenge that. I would still be clinging on to my original belief in the absence of evidence and in the face of evidence to the contrary. Now, that being said, is it wrong to have faith that you'll wake up rich tomorrow?
I was going to ask you that. Is it even good to have faith? I mean,
Is it good to have faith? Uh, you kind of, I would say, is it good to have faith? I think faith is gullibility. I think faith is gullibility. I think if we just got done talking about hope, and hope is optimism, and it can be a little silly to hope for certain things, to hope for my bread to turn into water. I'm so thirsty, but I got all this bread, and I hope it turns into water. That might be a little silly, instead of me looking for water, right? If I sit there and I say, hoping is going to do one thing, but I'm still going to look for the water. If I have faith that the bread's going to turn into water, I may very well end up dying of thirst. Because faith is that
Oh,
I'm
I see.
I'm
Yeah.
convinced that this thing will
Right,
happen.
right.
Um,
So hope is really like, I'm really hoping for this to turn around or this promotion at my job. It may not. So it's a big kind of, what if with hope. But faith is like I'm relying upon it without a shadow of a doubt,
yes,
and it's going to happen eventually. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. So
right.
okay, that makes
And
sense to me.
you know, if you have that conversation with somebody, they're going to say, "Well, that's silly. We know bread doesn't, do that." And that's right because these are physical things, right? We can break down the chemistry of bread. We can break down to the molecule of what is in bread, and break down what is in water, right? H2O. And we can look at the different variables, and we can say there's never been up to this point we have no good reason to think that bread is going to turn into water. So we need to go look for water, right? I can show you all of that. But if you have faith that the bread is going to do that, even after showing you that stuff, you're still going to hang on to that idea. Now, if somebody says, well, this is just my faith, this is just what I believe, you know, you don't think it's true, why can't you just keep that to yourself? And it's like, well, I don't want you to die of thirst. And when people say, well, um, what about your wife? Don't, wouldn't you say that your wife is faithful to you? Or, um, you know, don't you have any faith in things? Do you have faith in anything at all? There's certain things that you just take on without having any evidence, right? You have faith in, um, you know, people will just say that you have faith in anything, as an atheist, right? They'll say that, oh, you have faith in atheism. Atheism is just the rejection, right? Faith is saying that I know something to be true and I know that it's going to happen. I can even prophesize about it. Like right now, I'm on my cell phone. I don't know if are you on your cell phone or you're on your tablet or
Yes, I'm on myself.
you're on your cell. Okay. If both of our phones were to say we were in the same room, and so this is a thought experiment, everybody. This is a thought experiment. Say Xavier and I are in the same room, our phones die, and he goes, "Oh shit, my phone's dead. Hey, what are you doing?" And I say, "Oh, I'm fucking plugging my phone in. I need to make some calls." I said, "Aren't you going to plug your phone in? I have an extra charger." And Xavier says, "No, I don't need to do that. I have faith that the phone's going to come back on." And I demonstrate that there is no electricity flowing. There's no energy, no potential energy stored up in the phone. I demonstrate this. It's not responding to any buttons. It's not responding to any commands. And I show that electricity is being transferred from the wall into my phone. The phone comes back on. It shows it's at 5%. We show it's gradually increasing. My phone is coming back to life, right? It's starting to boot up again. I'm starting to be able to use my processes and my applications. And we look over at Xavier's phone, and it's still black and dark, and nothing's happening. And I say, Xavier, you could charge this phone. It's only taken me 15 minutes to get to 60% or 70%. You could charge this in 15 minutes and have your phone back. Don't you have to make that call to the bank or whatever before they close? By Xavier saying, I have faith that the phone's going to turn on by itself. The viewers here, you would say that's silly to sit there and do that because you can demonstrate it because it's physical and you've done it before, right? When you can demonstrate something to be true, that's how you know that it's true. The issue with faith is there's no way to demonstrate that it works. The only test that we can do is say, what do you have faith in? Go ahead and put your faith in it and let's see if it happens. And if it does happen, is it repeatable? Can we do it again? So the whole world can sit there and look at you, Xavier, having faith in your phone coming back on. Generations after generations, even after you pass away, just this live camera feed onto your onto your phone, excuse me, watching this for generations to see if the phone will come back on. Now, who's to say how long that should take? I don't know. But many people's phones have died and been recharged by the demonstrated science long before you passed away and I passed away and all these people were viewing it passed away and all these generations and generations and generations. And if the phone is still not on, even let's say that the phone did come on in 3,000 years, just simply by the faith that you had it would, is that in any way useful to the demonstration of charging it in 15 minutes? That's how I say faith is even weak in that way. To say, well, how do you know how long it's going to take for my faith to come to fruition? It's like, well, if we can demonstrate by another means to get to point B quicker, why latch on to this other method? I know you used to be religious. How did it feel going from faith to no faith?
Didn't really look into or thought about faith in that way when I was religious. I really actually thought of it as, well, it never really came to mind, really. It was something that I was, indoctrinated within me from a child, and something that I just knew to be true for no reason. I just knew there was a heaven and there was a hell and there was Jesus and there was Lucifer. But losing that, it was really a chain of different events that happened. I just noticed how, to say my mother, how when she lost her faith and going from, praying, every night and studying the Bible and preaching sermons to not doing any of that anymore, and then, relapsing on, drugs and stuff like that. It make me wonder, how someone who has such faith and for many years before I was born, or, to just lose it so quickly. Because of her actions, that led me to question my faith,
Yeah.
So that was really kind of help, spawn this wheel in my head and said, okay, here's somebody who, could do no wrong and, to me did no wrong during those years of my, adolescence, and now to just lose it made me wonder. So because of that, I started questioning everything. It helped me to start questioning everything in the Bible and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just
I
saw
noticed.
I just saw
Yeah.
John's post down here. I don't want to feel like we're ignoring him. Um, he said the problem with an experiment like that, with the experiment we're talking about a little bit earlier, um, involving faith or prayer, is that you don't know if it would happen or not without faith or prayer beforehand. That's so true. I was really hard up for money, really needed some money for gas. We couldn't even get to the grocery store. It's like, let alone I didn't have the gas, and it was like shit. I was getting paid the very next day. It was just a really tough point, and it was like, man, I started scouring the apartment looking for change. $20 was in a birthday card for Autumn, my daughter. There was like $20 in there, and we just left it in the card. Totally forgot about it. It was like, cool. Here's $20. Great. If we had found it at the time, we would have spent it probably, and then we wouldn't have had it now. Went ahead and got gas and did what I needed, what I had to do. I didn't pray for it. I didn't have faith that I was gonna have money.
You didn't pray for it.
It was already in the card. And what's crazy is, like John was mentioning, if I was a religious person and I prayed to find the money and then I found the money in the card, I would say, oh, see, the prayer does work. And that's how I've demonstrated my God to exist.
Yeah.
But they don't talk about the misses where you do pray for the money and it's not in the birthday card, And
Yeah.
yeah, kudos to John for pointing that out, and that really did bring that to mind. I think he's saying good night. He's already left, but he said, guys, have a good night. Keep up the good work. Glad I could tune in. Got to get going. Take care. All right. Cool. Xavier, did you want to say anything about, I did want to bring this up just before we part ways. Did you want to say anything about Grandpapa? I know you're doing some side projects for your YouTube page, and I really had a kick out of watching that video. If you guys haven't seen it, Xavier's YouTube page, he has a he has a little sketch comedy that he's doing. Grandpapa. It's well, I don't want to spoil anything. It's just basically, what if he was your daddy? Do you have anything you want to say about
Yeah.
it, or any other side projects you're
Um,
doing?
well, yeah, you can tune into those little fun adventures on my YouTube page, Xavier3121, and of course my Instagram, Xavier3121 underscore. That's 3121. No, I'm just really just kind of experimenting with that character.
Okay.
Um, it's really somebody. It's actually stemmed from my real grandfather on my father's side.
Okay.
Um, and but I haven't really did the voice because my grandfather spoken in a kind of high pitched voice. He's like he's kind of speaking a little bit like this. And I don't know why these people do such things, and the government is fucked up. That's the way he used to speak. But I'm just experimenting and see where it takes. I may actually start doing some bartending videos, different little things, and of course I have my music too. I'll probably release a video, but just experiment. But yeah, you can check it out if you want.
I am looking forward to the bartending, man. I know you served me a few drinks, and definitely want to see how you put them together, because you always have them ready before I get over, and
No, I don't.
you,
No,
you usually do. You
make
usually have the recipe already ready, or maybe I'm not paying attention, but I sit down and I'm in my phone maybe.
I have the recipe. Yeah, I have the
Okay.
recipe ready, but I make the drink, fresh. You have to make it fresh.
Okay, yeah,
You get
it's not sitting there with the cubes in it, right, but
yeah,
it's like you already have it ready to go. So you've been working on
yeah.
it
I mean, I
before I
have
got
some
over there.
good
Yeah, you've already tested
formula.
the failure.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I went through. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have faith that it would work.
yeah.
I had a lot of misses and stuff like that, and this Kool-Aid doesn't mix good with this vodka and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, trial and error. But yeah, I may start doing some videos of that and
Okay, well,
see where it
I,
goes.
I do want to leave everybody with a social suggestion for Tiger Talk episode 4. Go ahead and try to replace any faith that you have with hope if you need to. Don't forget, you really have to get out there, use your hands, use your mind, be creative, think of solutions, and help. Help get it done. Simply hoping for it is not going to get the groceries, and having faith that the grocery store is going to have a shopping spree free, and call you up and tell you to come by right now. That's not going to get it either. You're going to have to get out there. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to get the money, and you have to go get the groceries. Use your hands, use your mind, solve problems. Try to replace as much faith as you have with as much hope as possible. Learn the difference and spread that. Xavier, would you like to add anything before we sign off?
Well said. Nothing else to add to that. Keep hope alive.
Keep hope
That's all,
alive.
that's all I can
Keep
say.
hope alive. Tune in for the next Tiger Talk. We might be doing a discussion on love.
Ooh.
All right, Mike Carey, Xavier Hayes, signing off. Take care.
Bye.